Okay, it's Jedi here, and I'm doing a interview about the time that I stole the Olympic torch for the first time in the history of the 3,000 years or more years of the Olympics. The first person to steal the Olympic torch. This is from the news, ABC News 24 archives on the 7th of the 8th, 2000. That was the day that I did it. Stole the Olympic torch for the first time in history in Frankston, as it went through Frankston on the torch relay for the Sydney 2000 Olympics, or the relay all across the country. And it started at Mornington, and then it went to Frankston, and then it went near the Frankston skate park and the Frankston court office, and I stole it. Now look at this. This is a newsletter for ABC News, and it was also in the New York Times and the LA Times. It was all over the place, all over the world, in the news and newspapers and TV news. All over the world. It made world news that day, August 7th, 2008. Sorry, August 7th, 2000. And now what happened was, 2 months prior to when it ran through the Sydney Olympics, it ran through Mornington and Frankston. About 3 months before it, I started telling all the people around where I lived in, the Frankston, Mornington, Hastings, Dramana area, Balnarring area, and the Summers area, all the places like that. And people started saying, I started telling people, I'm going to steal the Olympic torch, I'm going to obstruct it. As it runs through Frankston near the skate park, I'm going to try and get it to the skate park and do the rail, the flat bar, holding the Olympic torch and get a picture of it or video footage of it. Because I wanted to do it, I was telling people all around my area where I lived that I wanted to do it, one, as a protest towards corruption in the IOC Olympic Committee. They take bribes and stuff, and this corrupt situation with the committee, the Olympic Official Committee, both worldwide and in Australia. And the second reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted to protest against drug cheating in the Olympics, and that came true several years later. I'll explain later on how that came true, the second part. And the third part was because I sort of wanted skateboarding to be in the Olympics, but that's another story. That was back in the year 2000. And I started getting word circulated around all the people that are around where I lived back then in the year 2000. And I started telling more and more people, and then all of a sudden I started asking people if they wanted to do bets. I had a few people that would bet me $150, and a few people would bet me $20, and a few people would bet me $50. I had racked up a bit of a bet system going, whether I'd steal it or not. And the main bet was if I actually got it in my hands and ran with it. I didn't have to get to the skate park and do my trick, the rail with the Olympic torch. I just had to get back. I had to snatch the torch and hold it and run with it, make a few bit of a run with it. And as it came closer to the day, August the 7th, as it was going to go through Mornington and then Frankston, lots of people were starting to get really hyped up for it. And when I caught the bus in the morning, I had 10 or 20 people on the bus with me that were going to be a cheer squad. It was running past at about 9:10 in the morning, and not 9:10 in the morning, and the lead up to it, everyone was hyped. So that morning on the 8 o'clock bus or not 7 o'clock bus or something, they came with me for a cheer squad, and more people met me in Frankston as well. Frankston people. I came from down in Peninsula and met up with them in Frankston, and I had a cheer squad of maybe 20 to 30 people watching me do it as I did it. And no one knew what the cheer squad was there for, but then after I did it, they did, because the cheer squad went crazy and cheered for me. What happened was, I got there first, and with the cheer squad, and I went and standing across the other side of the road where the Kmart Tyre Power is, and next to the court building and the Frankston police station, the old school Frankston skate park back in the year 2000. And then everything was set. So the person running up, and it was a woman named Linda Colcott, and she was an older woman, perhaps in her 40s or something. And then she came running up with it, and I thought, right, it's now or never. And I just dashed out fast as I could, grabbed it out of her hand, twisted, turned, ran again, and made it from about, I'd say, the length of half the length of first base to sort of home plate to first base, or third base to home. About halfway there, maybe getting a bit more than halfway there before I got tackled by 4 security guards, smashed against the tyre of a new VT Holden, which was a HM, Holden, a brand new one, and smashed against the tyre of it. And they retrieved the Olympic torch from me, and they took it back to the woman Linda Colcott, and she then she kept running and did her allotted time slot of running the Olympic torch. And now that's when the crowd started cheering heaps. My cheer squad of like 30 people started going off, and the police put me in their car and drove me like about 20 metres down the road to the police station. They took me to the police station, and they didn't even charge me. They said, you have to go to court, but we don't have a charge yet because nothing like this has ever happened. There's no precedent in history. So I started off a new crime in the crime books all over the world. And then they didn't give me a charge. They said you got to come back to court. And about 2 months after that, so about August the 7th, year 2000, they called you back to court 2 months after. And the cheer squad was all cheering. It was when I got locked up in the car, and they just let me out. They didn't even put me in jail or nothing. They just gave me a court date, and 2 months later after that, and then let me out. And then the cheer squad was going off, and I walked back to the skate park from the police station, and everyone was going off there. They were saying it was wicked what I did. It was fucking off tap. And then what board did I have to do it when I ran? What board did I have? I had the consolidated board. A consolidated board that I had picked up a while before that. And I was trying to get to the other side of the road and get on my skateboard, go to the Frankston skate park and do the flat rail. You want to be tortured, but that never happened. But I still got to hold it and run with it, so I won all the bets. And a few people didn't pay up, a few people did. Respect to the ones who did pay up. Fuck you to the ones that didn't. They can get fucked. Made a bet and didn't pay up when they got done. But a few people did, so respects to them. A few people paid up, so respects to them. And then it became an instant trend all around the world. It made world news that day. To August 7th, August 8th, it made world news. And started a worldwide trend. 5 people tried to steal it in Australia for the Sydney Olympics. After I did it, 5 people tried to copycat me. One person tried to run past on like I did and grab it. One person tried to fire extinguish it with a fire extinguisher. A person tried to grab it on a horse and go past on a horse and grab it, and someone tried to go past on a bike and grab it. Also, someone tried to grab it off Tom Carroll, the previous world champion surfer from the 80s, as he ran along one of the beaches of Australia with, I think it was New South Wales beach, I believe, or could have been a Queensland one. And he ran along the beach with a Olympic torch, and a guy tried to grab it out of his hand, but Carroll couldn't be wrestled out of it, and Carroll wrestled it back without losing the torch. So it started a trend all over the world, because 4 years later in the Athens World Olympics, people tried to steal the Olympic torch on the world relay. And then 2008 Olympics, people tried to steal the Olympic torch to do free Tibet protests. And then in 2012, people tried to steal it on the world relay and the English relay for the Olympic torch, 2012 London Olympics. And then in Rio for the 2016 Olympics, people tried to steal it in Rio de Janeiro. A few times people tried to hassle it and obstruct it and steal it. So it started off a worldwide trend for the last, well, let me think, about last 16 years, last 18 years. And it's a new crime in the crime book. Stealing the Olympic torch or obstructing the Olympic torch. And it also came through my protests about corruption in the Olympics and drug cheating with the athletes when Marion Jones, the most prolific athlete, the US track and field athlete, Marion Jones, the African American woman from USA, won the most medals at the Sydney Olympics, 2000 Olympics, and she won 3 gold and 2 bronze. And 7 years later, in 2007, she admitted that she was a drug cheat. That's after living the millionaire lifestyle for 7 years, like being top of the ranks and affording whatever you want without no worry about ever going without money. But yeah, she basically scammed. That's when my protest came true. But yeah, also one more thing is that in year 2000, when I saw Olympic torch for the first time in more than 3,000 years history of the Olympics, then I became famous in Athens immediately and most of Greece. And if you become famous in Athens, then it means you're famous in Rome. So yeah, I've been famous since year 2000 in Athens and Greece and Rome. Yep. Started the trend all over the world, stealing the Olympic torch, obstructing the Olympic torch. The first time in over 3,000 year history of the Olympics. Alright, that's a wrap. Talk to you soon about my interview about the world record long distance marathon that I did on a skateboard back in 2003, Port Melbourne to Mornington and Mornington to Port Melbourne, 70 kilometres in 8 hours or so. And also the Sydney record from top of north end of Sydney Harbour Bridge to Manly Beach in 5 hours or 4.5 hours, 45 kilometres or something, 40 kilometres. And also when I did the Olympic torch theft, I forgot I told you I had a consolidated skateboard, blue and white consolidated skateboard, and I had Converse shoes on, no, Airwalk shoes actually, I think they were. Oh no, hang on. It might have been Airwalk, it might have been Converse, I can't remember. Anyway, peace out. That's it, it's a wrap for me. Later.